Hello. We were disconnected from the server. We didn't have any internet for like 30 seconds. So the stream died. Now it's back. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. The the stream ended because we lost internet in the house, I guess. Then internet came back. So whatever internet we have, it's their fault. That's correct, Mark. Caffeine Jones gave 100 bits. Thanks, Caffeine Jones. Whenever I see Caffeine Jones's names, I want to make coffee. But what if you wanted to be up until 3 a.m. because you had to do something? I could make coffee. That would kill some time. I guess I'll make coffee. I'll be back. Maybe one of the kids will have some. Okay, I'm making coffee. Holden said he'd have stuff. Yeah, it's impossible to do, and nobody can do it. And if you can't do it, it's too late. That's right, Mark. So when I visited my family on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or it's not Saturday, me and my brother and daughter went to a baseball game. The Tigers were playing the Braves, so I didn't know who to root for. Then we sat down at a table. Also at the table was a guy who had a Braves cap on and a Tigers shirt. And I asked him, and he said he lives in Atlanta, but he's from Detroit. And I said, I live in Atlanta and I'm from Detroit. And he lived in Kennesaw, and we live in Roswell, about 40 minutes away, Kennesaw. Maybe not that far, maybe 30 minutes. Depends on traffic. He said we should root for the Tigers because the Braves are out of it anyway. The Tigers are trying to make the playoffs. But the Braves won 10-1. The Braves, who are way under 500, won 8 games in a row. The Tigers, who are in first place, have lost all of their games. So the teams are going in the wrong directions. That's right, C.L. Smith. Yeah, Washington and Pittsburgh are worse than the Braves. That's right. Okay, Bonerichi submitted the next game. Now, this is weird because this says Bonerichi played the game in a tournament last week. I didn't know that Bonerichi still played in tournaments. Anyway, he writes, I hate playing children. These 8-year-olds coughing into their hands covered with shiny phlegm, with terrible misspelling of phlegm, staring at you with fever red eyes, then offering to shake hands. Luckily, this 8-year-old wasn't that good otherwise. I might have died otherwise. I might have died from a COVID-induced heart attack after he announced checkmate. Bonerichi's white, and his opponent, looks like you spelled your opponent's name wrong, is 1483. And it's game 50, delay 5. That's right. The Falcons lost 30-0 to like the worst team. The Falcons did trick you. They tricked me too. I thought they were going to be 7-10 or 8-9 this year. Then when they beat the Vikings, I thought maybe I was wrong. I don't know why I thought I was wrong because man, 7-10, 8-9 seems about right now. You submitted it hours too late. Although I saw somebody submitted something. Okay, Bonerichi's white. So far, both sides are playing pretty good. Yeah, I hear white should play knight d5. That's already very strong because you're threatening bishop c6 and you're threatening knight f6. Put it in H. Boy, the engine really hates the move H4. But you got to put it in H. Boy, the engine always sacks the exchange, and so did your opponent. The engine likes to move knight d4 here, threatening knight takes f3. But your opponent wanted to win back his exchange, which is also good. Now black's just a pawn up with a better pawn structure. But you wrote that your opponent was no good, but your opponent's outplaying you every step of the way. Knight e7 is not a great move. It's okay. I shouldn't have complained about it. Rook f6. That hangs the h pawn. Rook f6. What? Why do you hang his h pawn? I guess when you said he wasn't very good, you just didn't say when. Yeah, now black's losing because his queen's trapped. All right, and the rest of the game's not interesting, I assume. Just black not resigning. Some kids aren't allowed to resign. Boy, he outplayed you the whole first, 20 moves of the game. Then he hung his h-pawn, then he trapped his queen. You have school tomorrow. What? Okay, I'm going to go get my coffee. If you guys want any coffee, I made enough. Oat milk and sugar coming right up. $40 gallons of coffee, that's all? For 600 viewers? I guess a gallon of coffee is a lot. Your opponent played very well, except for hanging his H-pawn and trapping his queen. I usually buy Starbucks coffee or Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I buy Dunkin' when it's cheaper. When Karen drank coffee, we always got Starbucks breakfast blend, which is what I usually get. My brother brought me coffee from Disney World, and this coffee just ran out with this serving. So for the next 3 weeks, I'll be drinking Disney coffee. Ooh, vegan cheese and ham toasty sounds good. Well, trying to learn, maybe you should stop playing well. Then you won't blow it anymore. Is that good advice? I don't know. No, I drink my coffee black. I've always done that. I would have to have like almond milk or oat milk or soy milk. When I get lattes at Starbucks, I get them with soy milk, and I like the way they taste. I usually get a latte with sugar-free vanilla and soy milk. And then when they give it to me, I say, thanks a latte. Guess who that is, period. C.L. Smith 15. Quoting the Guess Who. The next game is from Pat. It's Pat. 15 plus 10 game against Shredder. I'm curious about why C takes D4 isn't as good as C4. I knew I would have had to release the tension there so I can move my knight to E4, but I did it in an imprecise way. And Shredder sent it 2,000, and Shredder says Patrick is 2145. And Patrick has black. It's Pat. Knight f3 is an unusual move, but it's okay. This is pretty boring. F takes g6? G3? What did I say g6? That wouldn't have occurred to me. And the engine doesn't like that move. Yeah, the engine doesn't like c4 as much. But you played b6. It wants you to take on d4. But this is good too. I mean, f takes g3 is so weakening. Well, this is where it says c4 is better than c takes d4. What's funny is earlier it said c takes d4 was better than c4. I mean, I guess c4 is better. I don't know why. C takes d4 seems fine. Rook a2 is a strange move. I guess it attacks the a3 pawn. Yeah, now you're completely winning. I guess by playing c4, you take away white's counterplay on the queen side, which this point doesn't matter because your doubled rooks on the 7th win the game. Well, I'd be afraid to play rook takes a3, but you were not afraid. You're not afraid. I guess you have to be afraid to move your queen, so I guess you have to do that. Queen b5. This is just white not resigning. Then white resigned. Yeah, you played a good game. Although I don't think you're here for this stream. Aryan 33s everywhere is on a 5-stream streak. Yeah, Patrick plays a lot of good games against Shredder. And against other people, too. Yeah, that was very clinical. The doubled rooks on the 7th remind me of a game that I lost to Alexander Belyavsky, which is funny because, you know, you don't see double rooks on the 7th that often because you don't want to allow it. But Belyavsky did like the same thing he did. Rook b2, rook a2, rook b2, and then I lost. Probably you can find the game if you go to the internet, type in Belyavsky Feingold. I was white, so Feingold Belyavsky. That's why it reminded me of it, because black is the one who did it. Yeah, he sets Shredder to, you know, not the highest level, I guess. Because it says Shredder 2000 is the rating that he gives it. But yeah, I don't know anybody who has Shredder since other engines are free. But Shredder's pretty good, except this game. Go, Ben. Okay, the next one is from Jimkin Chess. Hi, Ben. Another quick bullet game, 1-0, with a brilliant move and a blunder, all in the same game. Both players are rated 520 something. And our hero's black. So this is a 1 minute game where both players are rated 500, although in real life, Jim's rating is in the 1400s in Canada. So in slow chess, Jim's a lot better. Hey, now you can play e5 and win a piece. I've shown this trick to my students, and he knew it. He played e5 in a 1 minute game. Imagine a 500 playing e5 in a 1 minute game. And that's what happened. It's good to know stuff. It's like black could play knight e4 here, although the engine says no, he should castle. So, all right. Yeah, knight takes c3 is a blunder, but not because of what white did. White played the worst move. Yeah, now white can take the bishop and the knight's trapped on c3, and white is very slightly better. But white took this. That didn't work out as well. You got to earn that 500 rating. White certainly earned his rating. Bishop e4. Rook c1. Queen takes c1. Isn't queen takes f2 mate? Yeah. He distracted him from queen f2 mate by playing rook c1. Mate. That's a funny mate. It's hard to believe that the players had the same rating. But black's coach is probably better than white's coach, would be my guess. Yeah, rook c1. Yeah, Pat, you just missed your game. I showed your game right before this. And I was like, Pat's not here. I basically just said you played well, and your game reminded me of a game I lost to Belyavsky because you doubled rooks on the 7th with black, and that's what he did to me. I don't let my opponents double rooks on the 7th very often. So when they do, I remember it. Terrible. Yeah, you played well. You got rooks on the 7th. I said that c takes d4 is probably worse than c4, is what the engine said, because you let him have counterplay on the c file instead of him having no counterplay. But with your rooks on the 7th, it didn't matter. Yeah, 1 minute games are usually not the highest level, but I thought Black played pretty well, considering he's rated 500 something. Okay, so this guy writes, here is a horrible loss I had. Roller coaster of a game. A lot of blunders and bad moves. I am white in this game. 5 minute blitz. Chat will be cringing at this. Okay, this is a 5 minute game, and both players are rated in the 600s, in the 620s. And our hero submitted the game, but he lost. So far, the game's great. I don't know what he's talking about. Well, knight takes isn't good because you hang your e-pawn. But I'm guessing that's not the biggest blunder that was made this game. Well, that's not good because white plays e5 and wins a piece. Except white didn't play e5 and win a piece. Oh well. Castles gives the pawn back on e4 instead of white defending it with like bishop d3 or something. Okay, and black didn't take it. Now e5 wins a piece again because black blocked the defense of e5 with his bishop. Oh well, bishop d3 not winning the piece again. Bishop takes a7, loses because black plays b6 and the bishop's trapped. Bishop g5 check loses because it's hanging. Now in this position, normally I would criticize white for not playing knight takes bishop. However, I can't criticize white because white played king b1. Always play king b1. So, well done. Coffee's good. Yeah, he did Fisher his bishop. It seems like the game where it was a 1 minute game and both players were lower rated than this was a more highly rated kind of game. Okay, now black's winning again because black can take the knight and then play b6. Or black could play h6. c3 doesn't let the bishop escape or defend the pawn. Yay, now white is slightly better. Now white's clearly better. Now it's equal. Boy, white's moving his king up the board. Now white's better. King b6 was the best move. Yeah, rook c7 is a blunder. And probably the people in the chat can see that rook c7 loses, but black did not find the winning move. Always retreat. Always play bishop f8. For those of you who don't see it, black can play bishop to d8, which wins the rook. But instead, black played rook takes. So now white's doing well again. Okay, now bishop takes c5 loses because black can take the bishop and then promote his h-pawn. White should play king takes b5, and white is slightly better, it says. Moving on up to the king side. I assume there were no more adventures, but maybe there were more adventures because white made a queen somehow. I can see later in the game that white made a queen with check. Queen b1? Wow. That's what we call a mistake. Well, now white makes a queen. King d7, letting him queen with check. Play king e7, then queen takes pawn check, and the engine says it's a draw. Now white's winning. White's winning now. White's still winning. Okay, so we're going to pause now. Queen h8. We're going to pause now, and we're going to ponder the fact that white lost this game. It's white's move here. You told me white lost after black queened, that would be reasonable. If you told me white was going to queen his c pawn and his b pawn, that would be unreasonable. No, I'm not kidding. White lost the game. He even said he lost. It's not like a typo in the result. He said, I lost this game, and your chat will find it funny, and so forth. Okay, let's continue. White lost in 9 moves. Queen c8 instead of promoting to a queen? All right. Still wins. g4? White lost this position in 6 moves. Okay, so my assumption is white was in time trouble and pre-moved queen takes g4 check. That's the only assumption I can make that would make any sense. Or white wanted to play queen f4 and mouse slipped. Now this position's a draw. King c5 loses. White should play king c7 or king c6. So when the king comes down here, white's king goes to f5 and takes on g4. Now black can play king e5 winning. But king f5 is a draw. Then king d4 loses. King d5 or king d6 draws. Again, we're trying to get behind the pawn so we can take it. But king d4 loses. And then white resigned. Wow, that was a back and forth game. Yeah, maybe it was a pre-move and, he just didn't have time on his clock. Because it was a 5-minute game, so that's possible. Yeah, white shouldn't resign because white could still win. Rawr. Maybe white lost on time. Maybe, I don't know. Doesn't say what happened. I mean, if it's a pre-move, that would explain why he hung his queen. But he should have written that in the synopsis, that I pre-moved queen g4 because I had 5 seconds on my clock. Something like that. Oh, white resigned? Yeah, I wouldn't resign because I wouldn't be confident that my opponent could mate with a queen based on the level of play of the game. When you're 600 rated and your opponent's 600 rated, it's very rare that you should resign. Did you see chess.com daily puzzle? I did not. I'm sorry. Did you see a difference between Alpha Zero and Engine from chess.com? I did not. I don't know who's better now, the latest version of Stockfish or Alpha Zero. I don't really follow that because they're both like 3,500, so I don't know. Yeah, the Lions played well in the second week, and they didn't play well in the first week. Usually the Lions lose to Baltimore, though. Baltimore likes to lose when they're winning. They like to give up leads in the fourth quarter. Yeah, the Falcons didn't play well today. Go Ben is correct. Thanks, Brad Pitt. Have you ever played at Marshall Chess Club? Yes, many times. I've lived in New York twice in my life, and I've also played there when I wasn't living in New York. How did the Bucks do against the Jets? I know there was something funny at the end of the game, but I don't know who won. The Bucks won. I usually stream between 2 and 2.5 hours. I've already been streaming for over an hour, but the internet went out, and so this is considered a separate stream because I wasn't streaming for about a minute. Bucks won because they cheated? Well, that's good. I've been to the Coca-Cola Museum, but not to the headquarters. Unless that's the headquarters, but I don't think it is. I've been to the aquarium too, although that was before I was a vegan. Vegans don't like aquariums or zoos. Truth hurts. Yeah, vegans aren't into fishing. When I wasn't a vegan, I wasn't into fishing. Vegans also don't like Zeus. That's correct. Okay, the next game is from Latino28. He's white. Hello, Ben. This is a very, very crazy game I played with white in one of the 9 rounds in Beal Chess Festival. I believe 6th round. I guess he means round 6. I faced the King's Indian defense for the first time, so I didn't know any of the middle game plan and only knew the first moves. The game ended in a draw after 5 hours. I had in the end game a crazy bishop sack I missed. Hope you enjoy. And it's a slow chess. Latino 1658 and his opponent 1722. I've never seen bishop f4. Doesn't look too good. Now it says knight takes e4 is better for black. It says queen e7 is better for white. Wow, it says white only has one good move here, knight to d5. Otherwise, black's better. Hey, he played it. Queen d8. What? Bishop e5 is the best move. God damn. Yeah, I would just castle. So now black's down the exchange, but white's played king f1. So it says white is slightly better. Now it says it's equal. Now it says white's slightly better again. Now it says black wins. Rook c7 is a blunder. It says rook d8 wins for black, but black played bishop a5. Now it's equal. It says that loses to queen f6. Now black's winning. Man, queen f6 looks tough to me because you're threatening queen f2 mate, and you're also threatening knight g3 check. And he played queen f6. It says black is plus 5.6. Ooh, it says that loses and that bishop d2 wins. Yeah, because then if you take it, knight takes d2 check, and knight takes f3, and queen takes f3. Yeah. Now bishop g5 just wins an exchange. So now white's winning. Then queen d2 is a blunder. Should play queen e3. That's winning. Now it's a draw. This is pretty drawn. And they agreed to a draw, which is a fair result. So both sides were winning this game. The last time that Black was winning was when he played knight c5. Bishop d2 is winning. Then White's winning after bishop g5. And then in this position, well, White should just play g3, king g2. But bishop d5 wins. We just have to play queen e3 here. And the difference is, after queen a1 check, king e2, if you take the rook, the queen's on e3 instead of d2, so queen e8 check wins. And the engine announces checkmate. Although it's mate in 14, but still every move is check. And after queen d2, the game correctly ended in a draw. Yeah, and this was all correct. Yeah, draw agreed. Both sides were winning that game. That game took 5 hours. So I think a draw is a fair result because both sides could have won. Yeah, queen e8 is a strange move, Bonerichi. I agree. You have a bishop sack at the end? What? My engine just said it's all zeros the whole game. Oh, in this position, you could have played bishop takes f7 and won. Yeah, I didn't see that. And then king d6 and... yeah. Yeah, bishop takes f7 wins. And then now after f6 you can't win because you can never do that. That's right. Bishop takes f7 wins because of king d6. It's not easy to see that this is winning because, you know, you could go here. Yeah, this is a draw. You have to play f6 to win. So even though bishop takes f7 wins, it's not an easy win. And you have to play f6 here to win. So that's easy to miss. I mean, you could be losing here. It turns out you're winning. That's amazing. C6 doesn't win. Now it's a draw. But f6 wins. Very confusing. Also, Kite didn't castle. I can't believe it. This game was too complicated. Your spelling of Bobby Fischer is correct. Shocking. Okay, in the last game, is from C.L. Smith. Hi, Ben. Here's the game against the National Master from a few weeks ago that I told you about. This game proves beyond question you should never play f6, and that triple pawns are 3 times as good. So C.L. Smith is white in the Alabama State Championship against a 22-97. Queen's Indian, the old style variation. Oh, you took with the B pawn instead of the queen. I just assumed you took with the queen. Well, that's unusual. I've never seen B pawn takes. Never play f6. Yeah, f6 loses because white plays knight c6 and has rook takes e6 next move. So f6 does lose. The knight's trapped on a5. And black resigned. So the engine says after rook takes c7, instead of rook takes queen, the best move is king g2. Also, I'm serious. Because you're going to win the queen anyway, so you have to make a small improving move first. Boy, C.L. Smith crushed that guy because that guy played f6. That was a 400-point upset. Rook takes g7, king g7, rook e7 check. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. I would, if I saw rook takes g7 1, if the engine told me that, I would still play queen e4. You don't play moves like rook takes g7 when you have such a dominating position. You don't want to let go of your grip. Try to calculate a win. Yeah, what you did was better. Yeah, that was a good game. Man, I've had a cold for like 10 days. I have like runny nose, stuffed up, coughing. My lower back hurts, which I think is a separate issue. Otherwise, I'm in good shape. That's right, Bonerichi. I take Advil occasionally. I take cough drops. Yeah, that was a nice game, C.L. Smith and Bonerichi. How's poker been going the last 3 or 4 days? Hi, Mohammed. Nice to meet you. Everybody, welcome Mohammed to the stream. Yeah, I've never played even 2-5. I've only played 1-2 or 1-3. Let's see what's happening in football. The Chiefs are playing the Giants. The Bears beat the Cowboys, so that's good. Boy, the most surprising game of the week, except for Carolina beating Atlanta 30-0, was the Browns beating the Packers 13-10. And the way they beat them, too. I heard they blocked a field goal and then they kicked a very long field goal to win. Or maybe the field goal wasn't blocked, they just missed it. I forgot. Two safeties in one game. What else? Yeah, it's good Green Bay lost for the Lions. The Lions got to beat the Ravens. Seems unlikely. But I don't know. The Lions scored 52 last week, so I guess they could. The Bears look good today. They didn't look good against the Lions. Yeah, I always root against the Cowboys. I'm not a fan of Jerry Jones or the fact that the team is so overhyped every year. Every year they were making the playoffs because they're in a bad division, then they lose the first round of the playoffs. Then they talk about winning the Super Bowl next year. I mean, they're never going to get to a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Go Philly, go the Phillies. Are you a fan of the Phillies baseball team or just Philadelphia in general? Or are you just talking about the Eagles? All Phillies things, yeah. Go Harrison Bader. I don't know who that is. Does he play for the Phillies? Heard of Harrison Butker. Oh, he's the new offensive. The Phillies signed. Oh, the new outfielder. So he plays for the Phillies. Yeah, the Braves decided to win all their games when they were already eliminated. The Tigers decided to lose all their games when they were in first. Tough being a sports fan around here. The Atlanta Falcons fired their field goal kicker, Koo. Then they hired another guy who made a lot of field goals last week. Then this week he missed a 49-yarder. Otherwise, we would have lost 30-3. I don't think I'm allowed to root for the Phillies because I live in Atlanta. I think it's against the law. I'll go to jail. All right, let me raid somebody since I've looked at all the games. Let's see. Poker, poker, poker. Chess. Okay, I'll raid the Chess Sharks. Or I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks for supporting the stream, everybody. Bye.